السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Ma'idah in chapter 5 verse 27. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. واتلو عليهم نبأ ابني آدم بالحق إذ قربا قربانا فتقبل من أحدهما ولم يتقبل من الآخر قال لأقتلنك قال إنما يتقبل الله من المتقين. And recite to them the story of Adam's two sons in truth, when they both made an offering to Allah and it was accepted from one of them but was not accepted from the other. And the latter said, I will surely kill you, said the former. Indeed, Allah only accepts from the righteous. Now this is a very important verse. And Allah starts it with وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ. It's an important declaration that there's a very important lesson to learn from it. And the story kind of goes from verse 27 up to 32. Now this story was back when mankind were 6 people. Adam, alayhi salam, Eve, and one son, one daughter from one pregnancy, and one son, one daughter from another pregnancy. And it was God's law at the time that the son from one pregnancy would marry the daughter from the other pregnancy. They were not allowed to marry from the same, their twin sister. And that's Qabil and Habil. So Qabil, Cain, he transgressed Allah's law, and he thought, hey, my sister is much more better looking than Habil's sister, and I want to marry her. I don't want to marry the other one. So at the time, the matter reached Adam, and Adam says, make an offering to Allah. And they both made an offering. So Qabil he was a farmer. He gave the worst that he had and threw it in the fire. Habil was a farmer, so he had a nice big ram. He threw it in the fire, and the fire consumed it. So Cain was both stingy and greedy. He wanted the best, but he did not want to give the best. And Cain's setback, when Allah did not accept his offer, it ignited his envy and his rage until he declared to his brother, I'm going to kill you. Now, there's no murder. I mean, these were the first six humans. And Habil's response shows his wisdom and piety. قال إنما يتقبل الله من المتقين. Allah only accepts from people who have taqwa. If he had taqwa and obeyed Allah's law, he would have accepted his offering. But he wanted to break the law and wanted to be stingy and then envious and all of these sicknesses that when they are in the human psyche untreated, they're disastrous. So Iblis kept working on Cain until he actually killed his brother. And once you kill, there is no turning back. There is no turning back. You've basically forfeited your eternity at that point. Allah in many places in the Quran says that if you kill another believer intentionally, you go to hell. You basically get yourself outside of Allah's mercy. So murder is a very serious action that one must not get into unless it's in self-defense or very limited venues where Allah allowed you to do that. So Allah gives us many stories in the Quran, and these stories, some of them correct aspects of the human personality. Now this is the story of these two sons. It's a very old story, but it repeats throughout human history. It's the stories of brother fighting brother over inheritance or over money or something, or innocent blood that's shed, murder, corruption. It's the human personality that is filled with problems if left untreated. Now we all get sick. But when you get sick, if you get a cold, if you get, la samahallah, you get cancer, it doesn't lead you to hellfire. Actually, death relieves you from that problem. But when you have psychological sicknesses, the problem starts after death. That's why they are very dangerous. And Allah is giving us the story that we learn, to learn from. So the human soul is in big trouble if it has one or more of these 6 deadly diseases that the verse alluded to. First of all is pride. Do we feel like we are better than other people? Pride is what Iblis, the first sin that Iblis did. He said, I'm better than him. Allah wanted him to bow down to Adam, and he said, I'm better than him. That's pride. Pride is very destructive. When you feel that you are better and more deserving. The second one is greed. Do you want what other people have? You're never satisfied with what you have. You always want what other people have. The grass is always greener on the other side. That's greed. Envy is even worse. Envy is you want what they have to go away so you can be better than they are. You don't want goodness to happen to other people. That's a very bad disease. The fourth one is stinginess. You want the best, but give the least. You want your worker to do 8 hours worth of work, but you want to pay him 6 hours worth of salary. You want to give him the least amount of money, but get the most amount of work. That's stinginess. Number 5 is anger. Do we get angry at the slightest trigger? And when we get angry, do we do injustice? There are people like that when they get angry, they kill. Or they hurt other people. They just go out of control. That anger has to be, we have to control our anger. I'm not saying nobody's going to get angry. You're going to get angry. We all get angry. Allah says, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. You suppress that anger. You are in control of your anger, and not your anger is in control of you. And number 6 is stubbornness. Stubbornness that you're proud to admit that you're wrong. You know you're wrong, but you will double down so that you do not admit that you are wrong. That's stubbornness. So these 6 psychological diseases, if at least one of them or more are in one person, it's a disaster. And if we don't have any of them, make sujood for Allah and thank Him that He cured you from all of these things. But if we detect any of these problems, we should seek the remedy immediately by returning to Allah, seeking forgiveness and mending our ways according to Quran and Sunnah. In this life, our competition is with ourselves, not with anybody else. Your rizq, your provisions come from Allah. Nobody else will take it away from you. What you have came from Allah and from Allah only. Your competition is with yourself and not with anybody else. So we do our best. We put our best effort forward. Then we ask Allah for guidance, help, and success. Then after that, whatever Allah gives us, we have to be content and satisfied with whatever He gives us. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum.